trying to get 2 fists for Christmas. I don't play, do the deed and get away with no scripts like I'm OJ. Riding, reckless. I'm about this money, putting checks on my checklist. Might check your necklace, might smack this water. You may go hard, but we go harder. It's on the song, might see me banging on my chest like I'm king. Okay, what the problem is, mess around and try to rumble with the problem kids. King of the jungle, screw the talking and the politics. You wanted a leader, okay, now follow this. If you wanna, I'm the put it on your slugs, sitting like a freight train. Not of this earth, we are not the same. When my crowd to the side say hi to the king.
Hello everyone, we welcome you back to Rift Rivals, where we see who is the better region and who comes out on top between rivalries, and pride is on the line in this Rift Rivals. I am Vulcan and with me is Atlas. We'll be your casters for the last game of day 2.
Man, that intro never gets old. That makes you want to drop a mixtape. But of course, coming to this game 4, this is going to be the last game we have for today. It's going to be Sin Gaming from the Oceania Pro League versus Unsold Stuff Gaming from the LOL Japan League. It's going to be very exciting here because so far LJL has been dominating this branch of the Rift Rivals, and it's super impressive. I said that super unexpected considering the gaming culture in Japan, but they also have their Korean imports as well. So overall, very strong teams, and Oceania also very strong of a region. So all these wildcard regions fighting together, definitely clear who is dominant so far, but we'll see. Looking at our standings so far, look at that. Unsold Stuff Gaming, their other game was a win. Yeah, we'll see if this one will be a loss against an Oceanian team, or these teams are both undefeated so far with 1 game. This will be their first loss for today.
Because if ever Unsold Stuff Gaming secures their victory against OPL, this is going to be 2 teams with 2 zeros, whereas Rampage does only have 1-1. So this just goes to show how strong of a region LJL actually is. So I hope for the Oceania region they are ready. So let's get straight to the game, because this is going to be a game between Sin Gaming and Unsold Stuff Gaming, USG and Sin.
If the LJL team wins this, it's going to make it even clearer that LJL is a force to be reckoned with going into the international stage outside of Asia. So there's definitely a lot on the line here, not just on the reputation of the team itself, but the region as a whole, and that's really what Rift Rivals is about, right? So coming into this game, I really am interested in seeing how all this will play out between these 2 teams.
When it comes to LJL, I'm really excited to see how they are playing, because judging from how they've been playing during the Rift Rivals, especially day 1, they were the eye candy, the eye catchers, because the way they played their games was very surgical and methodical in a way that you question yourself, man, why can't I play like that? Or why can't other regions can actually adapt in a way that LGA is adapting right now, entering the Rift Rivals, pitted against the Oceanic region, OPL, and then GPL in the Southeast Asia.
Yeah, that's sort of methodical precision. You usually only see that in like the main regions,
like the big boys.
Like the big boys, around the mid-tier of the big boys, and seeing this from a
mid-boys to the big boys.
Seeing that kind of performance from a region who hasn't been in the spotlight as much is definitely surprising. It's great to see that that kind of growth and development in a region. Definitely infrastructure is there. The support of organizations definitely there as well, I bet. So I'm really interested to see the behind the scenes. Like, you see the performance of players, but I also want to see like the mindset that the coaches teach them, how they do their drafting.
Well,
so all that, yeah.
When you actually put it that way, this is actually a rare opportunity for all of these regions to actually face off against each other for the first time, because this is actually a rare opportunity because GPL itself, they don't have much exposure outside of the international scene, so this is actually very rewarding.
日本の立ち位置はそうですね、 LCK を結構日本のチームはみんな参考にして練習したりするので、動きが LCK に似たような動きになることが多いですね。LCK チームっていうのはリスク回避を徹底していて、とにかくリスクを省いてなるべく確実な勝利をものにするっていう動きを取るんですけど、日本も完璧とはいかないんですけど、その動きを真似てその作戦を組み立てたりすることが多いですね。
저는 이렇게 국가 대 국가를 하는 게 롤드컵만 아니라 이런 리프트 라이벌즈가 있다는 것도 충분히 즐길 거리, 볼 거리가 많은 것 같고, 이제 서로 각자 나라 팀끼리도 롤드컵이 아니면은 다른 나라 팀끼리 게임하기 어려운데 이렇게 자리를 마련해 주는 것 저는 좋다고 생각합니다.
良かったと思ってます。僕はこのプロになってプロじゃないとできないこととかをすごいたくさん経験させてもらったし、やっぱりプロになる前のゲームって本当に遊びだったんですけど、プロになった後のゲームって本当に仕事で、辛い時もやらなきゃいけないし、やりたくない時もやらなきゃいけないんですけど、でもそれをやってこそその先の嬉しさとかがやっぱりあるので、それを本当に
LJL은 지금 LCK에 미치지는 않지만 그래도 호흡을 맞추고 이제 선수들끼리도 충분히 연습을 하고 그러면은 LCK 팀도 충분히 이길 수 있다고 보고 있고요. 그리고 세로스는 지금 약간 일본에서는 그래도 챔프 폭도 넓고 약간 할 줄 아는 게 다양하기 때문에 충분히 지금 일본의 페이커라 불릴 만한 선수인 것 같습니다.
チームみんなで共有して分かち合えたりすることは本当にプロをやってよかったなと思いますね。勝った時なんか特に。
안녕하세요. 일본 리그에서 뛰고 있는 한국인 선수 전 리마인드고요. 저에게 이런 질문이 들어왔는데, 일본 리그 e스포츠 환경과 한국 리그 e스포츠 환경이 차이점을 저한테 물어보셨는데요. 우선 제가 한국 리그에서 e스포츠 경험을 해본 적은 없어가지고 한국 리그에 대해서 정확하게 환경은 잘 모르지만, 일본 리그 같은 경우에는 지금 아직 시작한 지가 얼마 덜 됐고, 그래도 매 팀의 적극적인 투자로 인해 조금씩 발전하고 편안한 환경이 돼가고 있는 것 같아요. 그리고 하나 더 원하는 소망이 있다면은 이번 리그에서 좋은 성적을 거둬가지고 일본 리그에 대한 후원이 좀 더 들어오고 좀 더 좋은 스폰서들이 붙어가지고 선수들이 활동하기 편한 그런 리그가 됐으면 좋겠어요. 저한테 질문을 주셔가지고 제가 답변을 잘 드리지 못했지만 짧지만 들어주셔서 감사했습니다.
そうですね、今回、リフトライバルに対しての準備なんですけど、リーグ中ということもあって大掛かりな準備はできなかったんですが、やっぱりピックが結構日本のチームは幅が広いので、それを生かして、結構相手のわからないチャンピオンを使ったりすることで、勝率が上がるのかなと思っています。そして、WCS に関してなんですけど、WCS に対しての準備はそうですね、僕これも日本のチームとかじゃなくて僕個人的な考えで、相手が知らないチャンピオンを使えばとりあえず1勝は取れると思っていて、その実力を上げることももちろんなんですけど、WCS 用の独特のピック、相手がもし知らないチャンピオンで自分たちが習熟したチャンピオンを持っていれば、それだけで大きなアドバンテージになると思っているので。
All right, that's actually an insight into the state of the LJL, its players, its organizations, the mindset. We see a lot of humility, but also tons of ambition from these players, and a mix of the Korean and Japanese talents. Really, a mix of these metas really honed them into what we've seen right now in Rift Rivals. So it's really impressive.
So I love how the players actually told the camera, the interviewer, that they were very humble to actually go into the Rift Rival, and I think they really find this as a really good opportunity to measure their skills, be absorbed, mingle with other players to see how it is in the other countries, how it is to be a pro, how is the environment. So right now in Japan's scene and trend, it's well known that players in Japan, they have really wide champion pool. So I think this is why LJL will really excel when it comes into the 10-man system, because players with small pools tend to really fumble and get crushed, whereas for LJL, as they said, they are confident with their high big pools, utilize it properly. But I think it's the message they told to the camera that they were very humble, especially the Korean imports. They are comparing it to the LCK regions in a way that can LJL compete with LCK, but they wish that they can compete it in one day. But let's see it in action. We'll be going on to the drafting phase pretty soon. Once again, I am Vulcan, and with me is Atlas. We'll be going straight to the drafting phase between LJL and the OPL region.
So it is going to be Sin Gaming versus Unsold Stuff Gaming. We'll see if what they said about their laners champion pools is actually true. And I actually really like the point earlier from that in those interviews about how the teams and organizations are investing into the team. So there's a lot of growth and development already in that region, and it's really like turning into this huge thing for LJL and how they're succeeding so far in this international stage. Even within Asia, they're performing so well here. If you include Oceania as well, yes, they are doing so well. Here comes Sin Gaming versus Unsold Stuff Gaming. These teams, one of these teams will have one loss after this, and if Unsold Stuff Gaming wins this, it's just going to cement the LJL region as one of the strongest regions here in Australia and in Asia.
This just goes to show how a player with a really good champion pool will excel in today's meta with a 10-man system. Right now, Sin Gaming, they will have to step it up, because what USG has told to the viewers out there is that they have to be ready. They will climb up the ladders and show that Japan has what it takes to show the world that they can be in the ranks with one of the players in the LCK and potentially in the Worlds. And as mentioned in the video itself, they did mention that one of their players are actually the Japan's faker in a way, if you guys caught that. So let's see it in action. Sin Gaming on the blue side, whereas USG is on the red side.
And looking at the bans so far, very good spread of bans from USG, banning out a lot from the jungle side, and so I think that might be where their focus will be. As for Sin Gaming, very spread out as well. Lee Sin, Kennen, and Oriana. Annie might be the lock-in here for Sin Gaming. We'll see how Unsold Stuff Gaming will be reacting to that, but notable picks so far. Sin Gaming locks in their bot lane almost immediately, giving out that information, so USG can react to that perfectly. As for Unsold Stuff Gaming, they will be looking at that Warwick. The Warwick actually not very often picked, but if you look at it in solo queue, in most regions, Warwick performs really, really well. And fun note, in the Oceania region, in Oceania server, Warwick is actually a very good jungle pick in a lot of the meta. Like the champions that the laners pick, the other junglers pick, Warwick is a really good pickup in the Oceania region. So this could be like a very good pick for this AGL team against Oceania.
But I love how actually the LJL region locked it in for Neo, so this is going to be very interesting to see how the Oceanic region will respond to LJL's draft, because so far things are looking pretty solid for LJL, but for OPL, they performed really well for day one, so let's see if they will keep performing up par with one of the top players from Japan.
It's been really bloody so far between these two regions, Oceania and Japan, so I'm really wondering how this fight will actually play out. So, looking at the composition so far, there's not a lot to go on, but the fact that the bot lane was picked immediately by Sin Gaming means a lot, that they're very confident that no matter what USG picks against them, they will be able to overpower them in laning. And that sort of confidence as well, and that the synergy, they really want this kind of, this duo bot lane that has this thresh. So, it might be very explosive there in the bot lane. It's going to be up to the junglers to actually mix it up there.
Junglers in the way that Neo will be in the upper hand, because he's on a Warwick. He kind of have this free alert that when someone is in kill range, he will react. That speed boost, the mobility a Warwick does have in the early phase of the game is so powerful that for OPL to actually respond to that, they have their work cut out. They need to establish deep wards. But I gotta say, the drafting phase for the first picking phase looked really promising for LJL. But for OPL's region, Sin Gaming, they performed somehow really well in game 1, but still, they have to come back from their deficits, what they're lacking, because this is a rare opportunity. This is the first time we're having a Rift rival, so all the regions, I just love how they get exposures and help them grow individually or as a team.
Yeah, I love how like every region gets time in the spotlight here in the Rift Rivals. Like there's NA has its own broadcast, EU has its own broadcast, and here in Asia and Australia, we have also our own broadcasts, our own fights and combats here. And so let's get back into the drafting. Banning will be repeated. The same pick, same ban so far. And look at it so far. The Annie pick is very strange coming for Ryoma, but seeing as he performed really well on that Talia in this previous game, man, I'm interested to see how he can bring out this Annie to its full potential. Like Annie right now is a child, so I'm wondering how Ryoma can bring that magic out of that child into annihilate USG. But of course, a little bit of a few hiccups in the drafting, but so far, because of the Warwick pick, I think it changes the dynamic of how you play your lane and how you, especially the jungler pick. For the jungler, you will want someone that has high sustain in the jungle because there's so much information that can be gained. If you go for someone with a bad first clear, and that someone who is not very sustained in the jungle, then the blood hunt will just seek you out. And even though it is a path of blood, it's not actually real vision.
Well,
it's still a lot of information gained.
It's like this because when you play the blood path game, be ready that somehow that when you go to a brush, hey, there's this really nice trail, I'm gonna follow it. And when you actually check to the brush side, you see
like full health
members just baiting you in. So this is something that you still, like I said,
be careful.
Like really careful because the blood path is not a free reward. It just gives you a trail for you to follow. But if you do follow that trail without any proper visions, especially on a Warwick, he does rely on deep, heavy visions.
But the thing is also, like, just knowing where the jungler is by just bouncing over and following the blood path on your mini-map, on your map, actually reveals a lot of information. Like, okay, he's low around red buff, so I can probably, let's say that this game, USG is on red team. So, okay, the OPL jungler is low on his red buff, so I can go for a gank top lane without any problem. So there's that
mind game.
There's that information that you have that Warwick can sniff out, and it's actually so effective. And you can even use that. Okay, all the laners are pushed in to their turrets, so my laners aren't in a position to help me. And since he's low on one of his camps, I can go counter jungle. So it's really this hunting game that Warwick plays. So far, that's the most interesting pick I've seen so far, along with the Annie.
Well, we did see that Warwick has been very famous, very popular for the LJL region. And also, I think it's the only LJL region who has been constantly picking Warwick as the majority of their jungler. But for OPL's region, they did pick up more. I think they pick up Warwick once, but not to an extent of how LJL uses it. Especially on Soul Stuff Gaming, they did use Warwick on day 1, and again now on day 2, which is something very, let's see, very, I wouldn't say surprising, but in a way that this is going to be something that players and teams will have to pick up, because when LJL picked Warwick for the second time in the day 2, it just goes to show that they really have this huge pool. Even if you ban out the Warwick, they will have
some other weird jungler out there.
Other weird junglers.
Yeah, but Warwick, lots of sustain. I think it can work with the playstyle of Unsold Stuff Gaming. They have, so far, they have pretty sustainable laners. And having the Warwick there means that most of the time, when the ganks happen, both the laners and the jungler will be at mostly full health. And imagine that. Like, facing up against a high sustain team will definitely be a huge pain.
And especially a Warwick in the jungle, he does not need pots. And he can
read your feed, which puts you closer to your Tiamat.
So and a Titanic Hydra, more of like a Rek'Sai in a way that you do have regeneration, but will not be enough. So I gotta say, for Unsold Stuff Gaming, they do have a really nice draft. I did see a top catch But right now, I think we are experiencing some technical difficulties.
We'll be getting to the drafting, continuing for the second phase of the banning and the picking in a little bit. But let's also talk about the Annie pick, because it's going to be very hard when you consider that there's a Warwick in the game. It's very easy for the trades to happen. I don't think we've seen the mid lane for LJL yet for Unsold Stuff Gaming, but once we do, it will give us a lot of insight into the matchup, like how many favorable trades can this Annie put out, and how will the Warwick be able to just exploit that?
Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh yeah, that's true. Little Red Riding Hood, if this is a Little Red Riding Annie skin, is actually going to be very thematic, because shutting down the Annie is definitely going to be important. Of course, Annie is a 450 ID champion, very basic champion, but the power that she can bring out when she's left alone is actually very substantial. AoE stun with huge burst. If you don't mitigate that in the early game by taking advantage of how low mobility she is, she's going to pop off and she's just going to destroy your team.
Like how a 450 champion destroyed you.
Let's not bring that up here, Vulcan.
But I guess in a way
Yeah.
that 450 champions, I wouldn't say that just because the champion is worth 450
Yeah.
IP does not really...
It's like the mechanical simplicity of it.
It's the simplicity or the difficulty level. So for other players, let's see how this drafting will turn out. We are seeing the Orianna, the Lee Sin scene, bans we've seen previously, but
Yeah, we're just working through the same pick and ban we were looking at
maybe
earlier.
there was somehow of a mishap in the picking phase. We'll see.
See though, Unsold Stuff Gaming still doing for their usual picks here. Navarro still locked in,
this
lots of
time
utility.
we would be still seeing the same picks. Let's see what happened during
Yeah,
the
because
drafting.
this is just going to continue after that. Rek'Sai, yeah, Rek'Sai I like the pickup against Neo's Warwick here, because Rek'Sai has a very sustainable clear. After she clears her jungle, she can just go straight for the regeneration from her rage. If this is I don't think this is going to be a Yasuo pickup. There's not a lot of knockups on the side of Unsold Stuff Gaming. It's just going to be the Tom Catch, same as last time. So
it would be the Thresh replacing the Ari.
So this is
the Annie.
really, really easy here. So it's not the Annie pickup. So it will be the Rek'Sai instead. I like the Rek'Sai pickup here because, as I said, very sustainable clear. Dodges being tracked by the Blood Hunt as well. As for the bot lane, this is a very interesting match here. Harepi and Empty on that Tom Kench and Varus. Very safe against the Thresh. As long as both of them don't get CC'd and trapped, then that means that Empty can just go straight for the Devour on his AD carry, bring him out of the death sentence very easily. But of course, the lane, considering the lane, is going to be much more safe for Sin Gaming because they naturally have the advantage, while Unsold Stuff Gaming, they're more of a reactive thing where they have to devour from trades and death sentences. But once the level 6 spikes happen, imagine Abyssal Voyage with Anti along with Neo. So that's already a big gap closer, and Neo can just use all of his tools already available to him. Let's look at the second banning phase. Zed, respect ban against Ryoma. Talia as well, respect ban against Ryoma. Really pulling a lot of bans here. As for Sin
Especially
Gaming.
for Apaman.
Yeah, Upperman. Really, the Jax and the Fiora, so these high-scaling top lane bruisers and
It
fighters.
did perform really well with the Shen though in day 1, so they have yet to secure the top laner, so a Shen is available if Apaman will still go for that route. Seeing how Sin Gaming, they are pinpointing that Apaman still has more hard carry top laners, but we'll see in the last pick for USG. But right now, Sin Gaming will be picking up the Syndra for the mid lane.
Very powerful mid lane against Remind's Cassiopeia here. We'll be seeing how it actually plays out because both of these have, Syndra has high burst while the sustained damage is on Remind's side. So it seems like it will be the Gnar pickup for Upperman here. As for Sin Gaming, it will be the Renekton. So this will be a really good matchup here for the. So how do you think Dockla's gonna fare against the Gnar?
Well, when it comes to the matchup with the Renekton and the Gnar, I gotta say for Dokla, he will have his work cut out against the Gnar because he has to be very careful in how he trades off, because if he goes all in with the slice and dice and can't go back, that Gnar is gonna kite him so hard he might die. So it's more of a skilled matchup when he comes in. So I guess for Renekton to actually fare well against the Gnar, he might want to rush the Ninja Tabi against
lock out all those auto attacks from the trades. And the thing here is for Sin Gaming, for Dokla, is that because he is on that Renekton who has a lot of natural sustain, he has a lot of potential to just dodge away the Blood Hunt.
Like slice in, call, and slice out quickly
That's
enough.
true.
So the Apaman, he does have sustain. So
That doesn't have natural sustain. So he can just actually out-sustain him if he goes for really good trades. But if the trades are not in his favor and he just keeps going for these, the percent health damage that can come from Apaman might just completely whittle him down. A little bit of a handshake here between the coaches.
So right now we
That's
will
true.
be going on to the rift pretty much shortly. So for USG, I love their pickup in the top lane. It's been a while since we've seen a Narn top lane, but leave it to the players in their RR when they can test things out, experiment with other pro players to see how things are going to turn out. But I love the draft so far from USG. But for Sin Gaming,
It's a good balance.
it's a good balance. Sin
It's a good
Gaming
balance
has
of, yeah.
like synergy in a way that it's very equal.
Yeah, very spread out, very good bot lane safety. For the top lane, very aggressive and can go for these early game power. As for the mid lane, good power throughout the game on that Syndra. For the jungler, is also quite powerful as well,
And I
able
think-
to just get these early ganks on. So good spread, very well balanced team, and it's I really like it. Compared to, there's a little bit of novelty on the side of Unsold Stuff Gaming's team composition with the Warwick and all. But I think it's also very well balanced. They have certain win conditions for their laning and how they can just go for these really abyssal voyage ganks, these roams coming from their support from NT. So I'm really wondering how all of this will play out once the game actually starts, because this is the last game we have for today. So really exciting.
I'm also excited to see, actually waiting for it. And right now onto the rift, let's get straight to it. Sin Gaming on the blue side, whereas Unsold Stuff Gaming on the red side. Things are looking pretty good for USG's draft, but they do have tendencies to lag in damage, whereas Sin Gaming, they have more damage all throughout evenly, especially that Syndra.
That Syndra's going to have a lot of burst. Sustained damage will come from FBI. As for the early game tankiness, the early game damage that had come from Dokla during these teleport plays, during these skirmishes there around the top lane, will definitely have a lot of power throughout. Even Juves has a lot of power. We've seen him on his Rek'Sai as well. Very, very powerful. We'll see if this plays well against Neo's Warwick. Seems like USG is going straight for it in this bot lane brush. Might go for a cheese. It is possible for the cheese to happen with a tongue lash, or maybe the Devour actually is more likely for NT. Seems like this will be the pickup so far. But on the side of the junglers pathing, they will be starting at Raptors. Very, very versatile path for jungling here. And they have their ways to actually mitigate, actually red buff side rather, the Brambleback. Juice, because he has more natural wave clear, more natural AoE, will be going for the Raptors, while Neo will be going for more single target, being able to just quickly take down that red buff. Look at how fast
Oh wow,
takes
he
it.
actually used his smite there, so very quick on Neo. He will be going straight for the wolves, maybe to the blue buff next. But I'm really curious to see how that Warwick to actually ignore the Raptors, going straight to the wolves without a potion. Actually, it's
very normal for
very
the
normal
region because
to
he doesn't really need the potions.
Yes.
Potions will only really work for you in combat. So, really, starting without potions is very good. It actually gives him a 150 gold boost towards his Tiamat.
So in a way that a Warwick doesn't really need pots, he just needs more mana.
And I
Because look at
understand, yeah.
the regeneration from that Q. It's very normal and meta for a Warwick to go for a beat instead of 3 pots or the refillable potion.
Oh, Rogue might be going for some disruption on this Warwick,
Oh,
but he's quite
Warwick.
healthy still. Look at that. Just being able to pounce at that drop, steal his health. And the thing is, with this Warwick, is that Smite on the red was actually pretty good because it did leave red at half health very quickly, so faster clear. He gets his Q much quicker as well. Usually I see most of the
In a way
Warwick
that
start W, so they can actually kill faster after smiting.
well, in a way that we're seeing that Juves is kind of slow on the draw, but when it comes to Neo, he's already level 3.
I have to go for a gank here.
Blast Cone.
There's no
to the
ward.
Air, no ward. There's the Tongue Lash. Neo going in deep. Rogue with the second stack. Will not connect for a stun. He goes on to Phil. There is the fear. And Rogue has no pretty close call because he was in kill range, especially with the tongues.
This does allow a little bit of Neo to actually just actually, he didn't even start W. He went straight for the ganking tools that he had, the Q as well as the E. So he didn't go for the W here. So instead of going for that, it would have been much faster for his clear to actually go for the W, Q into W, or W into Q. But seems like that does give Sin Gaming a little bit of leeway. Juves was able to steal away the Raptors from Neo, so that is a little bonus that he has. But seems like all of the lanes are actually pushing against USG, so Juves doesn't have really a lot of ganking paths here. His jungle is almost cleared.
Yeah, the Jaws of the Beast is a huge sustain tool for Neo, especially he is starting without a pot, but he did buy the refilling potion, so for the sustain wise, it's going to be very healthy for that Warwick.
Definitely. We're seeing, since Dokla has been pushing in this top lane, and Meganar is almost up, so this Renekton might be in a little bit of trouble, but also Juves is around the corner.
Oh, Juve, sneaky, playing the spy game. He sees Neo. Neo is there, but he does have the damage reduction. He is fleeing. Fears two members of Sin Gaming. That was the first blood onto AP, Appaman, and Neo with the sustain, with the Jaws of the Beast. He will be surviving. Oh, boy!
Man,
I felt that.
To death. Yeah, I felt that. It was a max range. Man, boulder toss there. And I really love the sustain there coming from Neo. The lower health Warwick gets, when he gets below half, the sustain he gets from his passive gets much, much bigger. And that allowed him to survive through the damage that Juves and Dokla can actually put out. And all that, it seems like a little bit of overconfidence coming from Juves, thinking that he could kill either Appaman or Neo when they got to jump on them.
Well, Neo, how do you do it? How do you bait the two members of the enemy team into going on to you? He is running the fervor of battle, so let's see in the replay.
Look at that. He just completely ignores the brush here because he knows where to go. He just goes straight for it, and because of that, Howl, he does have some damage reduction. The Primal Howl gives him damage reduction, gives him the crucial fear, which allows him to auto-attack a few times to recover health. The Jaws of the Beast as well, giving him so much sustain in that fight, and that beautiful boulder toss at the end.
I guess the boulder toss damage was underestimated for Juves because...
I love the timing for that.
Yeah, we did see Appaman. He is running the fervor of battle, so it really did catch him off guard.
The thing is, that gank timing was perfect. Appaman had his rage, and then he was, and Neo was at full health, ready to go. Seems like Neo might be dove here.
Neo does have the fear and the damage reduction. Neo gets bursted down by Ryoma. He did unlock the Unleashed power.
Man, that was a very fortunate level up there for Ryoma, getting the burst against Neo, because otherwise he would have lived there. The dash through the Jaws of the Beast, very good tool, very versatile. It can be used to like knock away people in the sense that you Jaws of the Beast behind them, and then the Primal Howl will fear them back into your team. Or you can use that similar to Yasuo's Sweeping Blade, where you Jaws of the Beast across them to go for an escape. But their Unleashed power, you can't really dodge that. So goes for kill. 2 kills already for Ryoma means he's going to be very, very dangerous.
So 2 kills start for a Syndra is something USG didn't want to happen, because knowing how a Syndra does scale off, very unpredictable. You can't really calculate the damage from the Unleashed power, because you also have to take consideration with the Thunderlord's Decree.
Plus, you have to count how many spheres she has out. So Ryoma being able to put out that much of burst, you have to be able to count it. As for the top lane, 2 kills on Gnar versus 2 kills on... Okay, let's look at how this happened here. Sin actually goes to a roam in the mid lane, gets a really nice death sentence, and yeah, Reminders have no chance of actually getting out of here because, man, the Juves here actually going in just to ensure the kill there for Sin Gaming. And yeah, 2 kills on Syndra versus 2 kills on Gnar. If you look at it in a vacuum, 2 kills on a Syndra is much scarier. But consider that Gnar is facing up against a Renekton. So a Renekton getting behind in the early game means it's going to be a 4v5 later. We'll see though if Dokla can recover.
I don't think he can recover in the sense that he can duel the Gnar. Knowing that the Gnar is 2-0, already has the Phage, more kiting tools for the Gnar, and Neo not even moving. But
Oh, the tremor sense does still sense him because he moved a little bit.
so that would be more of a stand-up for Neo. He knows what's up. And aiming for the bot lane. We
Yeah,
can
might
see
go
that
for a 4-man here in the bot lane.
Ryoma's approaching it slowly. The Descendants will connect onto anti-heretics there, but there will be a tower there. 4-man tower dive. Juice is going in. Gets the tongue lash dive. Ryoma setting up for the unleash power. The turret's very low. They're going for the turret
man.
soon. Here comes Remind, and the infinite turret is on too. Juice, he does get away with the lantern. Remind dodges that dark hook. So it will be members of Sin Gaming backing off. Oh boy,
man.
Neo though.
Oh, the Devour saves his
NT.
life. That dive could have been played better by Sin Gaming, because they left themselves open to so much CC that could have gone badly for them if Remind actually reacted faster than that. If Remind walked down to the bot lane faster than Ryoma, or rather kept the pace with Ryoma, imagine how much damage he would have been able to put out. He has the Petrifying Gaze, he has a Storm Raider Surge available to just completely chase them down. So if that reaction time from the mid lane was actually on point or completely flawless, then that would have been a huge turnaround for USG.
But I love how the members of both teams, they had this stand of win without fighting or scare them away your guts. And I love how Rogue, setting for the box down, sees Neo will have to try and reposition.
Yeah, scared away by the big bad wolf.
Big bad wolf.
So seems like both of these junglers really hovering around the bot side. It seems like the top lane, Jubes has given up there, and it seems like Dokla will have to fend for his own. On the other hand, Neo thinks, okay, my job there is done. Let's go bot lane. Because this matchup is going to be very hard if all Hareti and NT can do is be reactive and be safe with Devour.
Yikes.
Ooh,
The first
man.
turret of the game
That's a pushing power.
goes to Sin Gaming FBI. It's a huge chunk of gold, 650 gold.
Man, and I think he can get that really solo. I think he got that solo as well without the help from his support, which means that he got all that solo. Seems like Neo will react to that with his own gold value, because if you consider this, getting the Infernal Drake this early in the game, the value isn't that big because you don't have high AP, AD numbers, but at this point in the game,
At least denied
it denies it from Ryoma and Sin as a whole, and this is actually around 600 gold worth in value right now. Like, if you convert the AP and AD you gain from this into longswords and amplifying tomes, it's worth around 600, which is a good trade-off for Sin, but it's more concentrated than FBI now. So Neo really needs to break his back to try and destroy and shut down FBI.
But not break his back too much like Batman, so for them to actually come back from this, they have to rely on the scaling of Hareti, because in a way the virus did really perform well in the previous game. It's up to Hareti to actually control the tides of fight, because of his Chain of Corruption can actually be a very powerful disengaging tool.
Seems like Sin's rotations are actually pretty on point here, helping out Dokla, not by ganking Aquaman, but rather forcing him into the jungle by going for more objectives.
Oh boy! Empty. I wonder,
be
if,
really
the,
careful
I
here.
wonder if the hitbox is bigger on the top catch. He's been catching the folks left and right.
He's very fat. He's a very fat catfish.
Do not fat shame the champions.
I'm not. I'm just saying. He is a very gluttonous devil here. We'll be seeing if their Abyssal Voyage is not available just yet. So he can't use it to actually set up anything for Neo, but this actually scares away Sin from their siege in the top lane.
At least they have grouped up in the top side.
That's
where
true.
Neo, he did try his best to help out the laners, but he cannot be a miracle worker, especially when the bot lane did fall. This opens up for a lane swap, pressure the top lane even more, deny Aquaman more farm. So this is actually a counter for the 2-0-0 lead he has. So let's see.
And might go for a dive here. 2v3.
Rogue has the hook. Lands
no rage.
Aquaman. Aquaman gets knocked to the air, and he can't eat him. FBI takes the kill.
Man, because there was absolutely no rage available for Aquaman, Sin uses that to their advantage. Might even get another turret. They do get this. So this is now a substantial lead on them. And that also, a lot of that gold went to FBI. So FBI is going to be a huge threat here. And if Sin Gaming gets another objective in this Rift Herald, that will make their pushing even more powerful, extend their gold lead. I think Sin knows what their win conditions are, which is turrets.
They're so cheeky. I love it. The way that Sin is playing this game is that, okay, let's just take down the turrets and leave them behind. That's all we want. Turrets, objectives. We
They have to
want,
give this up, however.
yeah, they also wanted the Rift Herald, but we saw how Appaman was taken out very easy, and NT was left behind. He was actually alone there. So instead of going in, right after the turret got destroyed, they immediately went to the Rift Herald. So
Look at that steal.
they know what they want.
A man denying the blue buff.
See,
The blue
objectives.
Sentinel from Remind puts a real hamper on that Cassiopea's DPS. Neo trying to solo this. I think he has to give it up, however.
They are taking away resources, objectives, gold value from USG. And Sin, they don't even want to start the fight. You saw what happened at the bot lane. The first blood turret went to FBI, so he immediately got the shift. That's extra pushing power.
Plus,
Very
he already has the
powerful.
BF sword as well, so on top of that crit and attack speed and burst from the lightning, he'll be getting that value from the AD from the BF sword as well. As for Sin, they're really playing this methodically as well. Like, how they playing this is like they go for the turrets, because turrets give you gold, right? And their composition is really made for this. They have good rotations around with a Rek'Sai, which can rotate to any lanes that need help pushing. And FBI, on that Caitlyn, naturally a good pusher, while his support here, Rogue, is able to get a very good peel. If things go bad in a push, just Dark Passage, whoever's in danger out.
Yeah, peel, the Rogue, the peeler for FBI. So, what do you think that USG has to do? Because
I have to be more proactive.
they're
here.
not that behind in the sense
Definitely
of
not.
gold, but when it comes to pushing, I think they're
And
not.
look at that. This is going to be the third turret on Sin's side. USG has to be more proactive. They can't just let Sin take what they want.
And then leave them behind like they're nothing.
Yeah, and they're not getting anything out of it. This composition that they have is so poised to actually engage onto Sin. They have to use that advantage. They need a good engage, come from the Petrifying Gaze or from the Gnar. And Neo as well can also go for an initiation. Neo, Brave Wolf here.
Putting Neo on a leash, lock up with a box in place. Here comes Yoma,
Oh,
but
so
he
tanky.
gets snared by the Infinite. There is a lockdown, but we see Appaman flashing over the wall.
No
Here
rage.
comes Broka from the top side, going in onto Appaman. Appaman gets taken up by Dokla. The hook lands onto Neo, putting him on a leash, but Anti bites him in. He swallows for the save, but Anti still sticking around. Neo is going for the sustain. With the jaws of the beast, he will not survive because of the Peacemaker from the FBI. But the triple will go to Hareti.
There we go. Hareti getting those kills. Definitely important for USG. And that's what I'm talking about. They need to be able to engage onto Sin. And there, they were quite far away in terms of the distance. But because of the speed that Bloodhunt gives and the rest of the tools that USG has, they're able to get 4 kills from that. Of course, they're still behind in gold. But they did get kills on an important
Look
member,
how Neo
Hareti.
played death in this clash. Let's
Oh
see.
man, flashed into the Infinite Duress. There's no chance for Ryoma to put value here, and weird teleport coming from
Backstab.
yeah, there.
Backstab. Dokla.
Oh man, and that teleport actually cost him his life. Appaman, with no rage, should not have teleport behind him.
And see how Neo gets swallowed by Anti.
Yeah,
Anti
very clutch.
Anti gets CC there. Forced to spit out Neo, but Neo didn't give up with the Jaws of the Beast, but the Peacemaker.
Of course, he could have dodged the Piltover Peacemaker there, but still very good trade here for USG.
I
But
love it.
a few things that could have been fixed. Of course, Neo's death could have been avoided. Plus, the teleport come from Appaman. If you're a Gnar without rage, with 0 rage, you should teleport with your team, not behind the enemy lines, because that means you're isolated and you're very squishy. Mini Gnar has low base stacks, so you cannot afford, Abyssal
Abyssal
Voyage
Voyage.
gank onto someone maybe.
For the flag.
Oh, they're trying to prevent the Rift
again.
Herald.
The Rift Herald.
They
Okay,
really are decisive here. And look at that, Appaman still continuing the Mountain Drake. In the minimap, okay, he actually canceled it because he can't finish that too quickly. And Dokla was around the corner as well, so it'd be too dangerous. But they might start rotating to it now as a full team. Might be very possible here. This is 3. Blade of Ruin King finish on Hareti.
They are going to be training for the Rift Herald. Sin Gaming.
They're doing this very quickly because of the Blade of Ruin King, plus natural attack speed come from Neo once the Drake is half health.
Boy.
Look at that. They leave Neo here. And Neo can easily catch up to the Rift Herald fight because he has the Blood Hunt as well as Infinite Duress. I don't think they'll be able to catch up to the Rift Herald, but they might be able to get something here like the mid lane turret. Very
I
possible.
love how USG, they were trying their best to cut them off, but Sin Gaming, they know that they can't catch, so it's USG being a bit more selfish, maybe more greedy, in a way that they want everything, but that's good, right? Be
yeah,
greedy.
because they were in a position to actually take that with how fast this team can rotate around. A very good try for them to actually deny both from Sin. They get the Infernal Drake, which Mountain Drake rather, which is very useful for this team. Rift Herald, though, on Sin might be scary because we know their win condition. Their objective here is to go for turrets. And if they get another turret, that's more gold. And what if FBI is part of that push? It's more gold onto FBI. So they really need to be able to shut down FBI so that the gold being funneled into this 80 carry becomes for naught.
Yes, they are really feeding FBI all their resources for him to scale up. He has the IE, the ship. That's going to be very powerful when you split pushing. So I love how the way that FBI is playing this game, very methodic, very objective-wise, does not want to commit to a full-on fight, will just single out members of USG and just go for turrets.
Yeah, both of these teams are actually playing very methodical in different ways. Sin is going for straight-up turrets, objectives. They want to do demolition jobs, while USG, however, going straight for these fights. They are picking their fights. They're picking their hunts, their wolf hunts very, very carefully.
Oh boy, Andy in the scene. Carrying away Dokla. See, they just ignored Dokla like a minion and just go straight for the turret, saying that, Dokla, you're not even worth our time. So
yeah, definitely. This
get
does
away.
put them a little bit of gold, but this allows Sin to really summon the Rift Herald here in the top lane.
The
This will be a free top lane turret. I don't think USG can react to that.
This could be even an inhibitor if they choose to, but we're seeing recalls coming in from Remind.
Yeah, they cannot try to go for the race here with the bot lane.
They're going for the mid lane
second tier.
instead. So we do see that the mid lane is being defended by two members. The Rift Herald is still going in.
This is the inhibitor turret though, which can regenerate. So I think they're trading it so that Hareti can farm this mid lane so it doesn't crash into the turret.
Good.
And for the top lane, that
Baron.
will-
Baron's gonna be live soon. So if Sin Gaming gets this Baron, what happens to USG? They're gonna be deprived of more objectives. Not much resources for them. So this is going to be very dangerous for USG in the sense that Sin Gaming, if they get the Baron, more bonus points for them. So in a way that this is going to be a standoff because the Baron control wards have not yet been placed. USG still can catch up to the game. They really had a good start. They have good Drake, so let's see them use those Drakes to their advantage.
Yeah, the gold is actually not that far. It's around 2.7k, 2.4k range of gold differential, but the Infernal Drake, as I explained earlier, puts this at the 20 minutes in the game. It's around 1,000 gold value, and the Mountain Drake, once they're actually pushing or taking Baron or another Drake, will add them some gold value, conditional gold value as well. So it's not too far. When it comes to a full-on 5v5, I do think if USG, they need the right timing with a Rage Bar from the Gnar. Because if they cannot get a good timing for the Rage and they get that's exploited by Sin engaging onto them while USG is unprepared, it's definitely going to be a bad time.
And it will be a disaster for USG because this is the trouble when you pick up a mid laner who really scales up to the latest part of the game. They don't have that damage that they have to rely on to Remind, whereas Ryoma 210 is just more than enough. He gets a Morello. That's it. It's pretty much good.
Yeah, as soon as Remind is able to charge up the tier fully and get the Archangel Staff, there's a pretty big shield available for him.
But see how Remind actually rushed that Void Staff? Because he knows that he's behind in damage. He needs that extra penetration so he can get through the thick skins of Sin Gaming. So the Baron is live, the Drake will be up soon, and I think USG will be taking his Drake. Sin Gaming, they don't be more proactive in securing
look at the
vision.
gold though. Hareti definitely behind considering how over 50 CS lead for FBI. Ryoma of course has around a 1,000 lead over Remind. As for Jules and Neo, they are around the same. Their KDAs are definitely similar. Their CS is also very close as well. But when it comes to it, that gold differential between FBI and Hareti will be the main point here, because Remind and Ryoma, the scaling is natural. How Remind is behind in damage right now, it's very natural. But for FBI and Hareti, that is the BF Sword's worth of damage gone from Hareti. And FBI is ahead in terms of the damage because he's building into the Zeal as well.
So let's see how things will turn out. The Drake will be live in 50 seconds.
Another Drake. We'll see what element it will be once it actually spawns, or once the camera gets to the pit. But looking at the pressure that Appaman has been putting on this bot lane, it seems like it's pulling a lot of aggro. It's definitely good, because right now, Dokla cannot duel this Gnar. It will just whittle him down, kite him, completely make him useless.
Right now, Dokla is out of the game because the lane swap, what happened in the bot side, was more than enough for Dokla to be behind already because the bot lane fell so quickly in a way that really diminished Apamen's and Dokla's potential to grow. So this is going to be the battle of the ADCs, and I think FBI will be going for more of a pushing game.
Man, Dokla just receiving the punishment from Apamen here.
Oh, he has the frozen mallet, so Apamen will really be putting Dokla on a leash.
Seems like it is the Ocean Drake, so it's not much of a priority for either of these compositions. Of course, USG would want that little bit of regeneration, but I think the Baron is the real apple of the eye.
No.
Oh,
Remind
man.
gets caught off guard. Ryoman does not land the stun. Remind flashes away, but the burst is just too much, and here it comes!
Oh, the heal!
Cubes for the execution, but it will fail because of the heal coming from Arete. But the ignite, will it be enough? No, Neo survives.
Yeah, Neo actually gets a lot of punishment as well from the mid lane there against Rogue and FBI. So now Sin is in a position to take the Baron because USG has to recall, regroup, and reposition here for this Baron. And they have built substantial waves here. Look at that topside wave that Remind has to clear out.
They're in the dark right now, so this is going to be very dangerous. And we see that Apaman is pressuring the bot side. We see Neo and the other team. Jubes is very low. He can't smite. This it opens up for the Baron.
Oh man,
Here
the
comes
restraint from Neo not to go in.
Oh no, the Baron resetted. Sayang, they cannot go for it again because the Baron reset. So this would be Sin Gaming stalling the game in a way that USG has the upper hand.
I love that coming from USG, being able to quickly position themselves with the Abyssal. They didn't even use the Abyssal Voyage for that. They just ran all the way to the Baron buff. And because they pushed Sin away from the Baron, they're able to push this mid lane, which closes the gap in gold. And since they're the ones that have the Infernal Drake, this is actually gold in favor of USG. This is also... the thing is here that Sin did not get the Baron right, so... But the thing is, they still have very, very good scaling here. This is still their power spike. The only weak link here is Dokla, who's not really very relevant in these fights. As for Yoshi,
Flashing from rope,
it.
lands the hook onto Anti-Bud, leaving behind the members of Sin Gaming. Here comes Remind, hissing on the Jules. Jules is taking damage, but Ryoma goes over the burst. Emma-Man's very low, he survives, but the stun goes up to Hareti, just walking away. FBI is on the pro, he goes for a beast break. Oh, snipe! He gets the double, and he's in the hole. Finish him off, come on, and a triple.
That was a sliver of health remaining for Hareti, but it's still a very good fight for Sin, because they get 2 kills for free, then they're going to be able to get another turret on top of this. Probably even the Baron, because Apamen does not have teleport. The death timer's at 30. I do not know that positioning from that fight. I don't think that was optimal, because imagine this, because NT was not with his team, and besides, the hook going onto him doesn't really matter. So NT needs to be with his team, but because he wasn't, Neo just got absolutely blasted out of oblivion. So without that safety of the Tom Kench, they're not playing to their win conditions of this composition, which is to keep their important members safe from whenever they get caught. And that's not what happened. Neo got bursted down, which meant that a good front line for USG got taken out. So this puts gold back in favor. Oh, look at that. There's no Devour here to help him out. Anti just being absolutely useless here. Even though it is a 3v3 at this point, they are more in a position to reposition themselves to help out the rest of their team.
The constant damage from Remind was really rewarding, but when the members of USG were very low, they just backed away. Look at FBI with the fancy plays.
And very bad timing.
The static shivs crit.
Very bad timing on the Gnar Rage Bar. It was only filling up when the fight started. And they didn't have vision over that area. So they just got caught out. And because, as I said, no Devour available for them, Neo just got instantly blasted.
Wait, that static shiv, I felt it here.
That is disgusting. That static shiv can resuscitate someone without a heartbeat. That static shiv can be used to resuscitate someone.
So is that like the disgusting damage of a static shiv?
Definitely. And look at that, with a Baron buff, with FBI leading the siege here, on point here, being able to just choke out USG, and FBI, this wave clear isn't as good as it should be.
FBI is playing so sneaky and dirty, goes straight for the turret, ignores the defense of USG. but I like it.
I definitely like it because now they're playing completely to their win conditions here. Just keep their AD carry safe. FBI can just go straight for the turret.
Oh, and FBI, look at those traps. Ooh, very tempting.
Our rage though, they have to be careful playing around that.
He's red. He's mad. Might go in.
Angry.
Oh, now he's mad.
I don't.
But
now they're waiting it out.
But he's scared of those traps. Look at him. Big guy scared of a small trap.
They can't be tempted by the cupcake on that
FBI
trap.
has the Knight's Vow passive.
Yeah. So this is just more survivability for FBI, which plays into their siege. And because the Gnar Rage has been diminished, they can continue the siege once again.
Look
I
what
love this
FBI
dance
is
from
doing.
Sin.
Going straight for the turret with those traps, really scaring away USG.
I like the trap line, and he's positioning himself away from any possible engage.
Though, he's trying to stack up his Rage bar. Neo has the flash and the infinite duress. FBI's position is a bit too aggressive because he wants to hit that inhibitor. Neo, okay, he's going over that wall. Trying to look for the right time.
Yeah, USG is just getting choked
Look,
right now.
FBI is the frontliner right now. He is fearless. He knows because he has those traps. He can go in. But right now, look at him. Very scary. There is the lantern for the safety. He goes straight for the inhibitor.
They just don't even fight USG.
They don't even fight. This is what I was talking about. They don't fight USG. They just ignore them.
They don't need to.
They don't need to.
They get the pressure on that bot lane inhibitor. That's natural pressure for them. That wave will shove really hard, which allows them to free themselves up for other lanes. And I think their next target should be around mid lane or top lane because they might get Ocean Drake for free. Or they might give it away to USG. But either way, they should be trading this pressure in the bot lane for other advantages across the map. Of course, USG, however, still not out of it. 5k gold behind if you calculate the Infernal Drake at 29 minutes. They're around 3k behind, which is still a respectable gold gap for USG. They can still get into it, but they cannot keep getting caught by here.
Neo gets knocked up in the air, gets chained by the Thresh. Ryoma picks up the kill.
That's what I was talking about. They fall apart once they lost their momentum from earlier. They just kept getting caught here. Ryoma with a stun, and the death sentence is on point, and now FBI can continue the siege here. Now on the top lane.
Again with that underhanded method. I just love how FBI is doing. See? Sneaky hits. Just ignoring the champions of USG. Look at those traps. The fourth one is there.
Oh man, that trap line definitely substantial. FBI chunked out half health, but he does have the Warlord's Bloodlust.
And here's the thing, they can't clear because there's the Thresh. And IFM chokes through that choke point. The hook will not connect. Remind is there.
Mind.
FBI is kind of low. Oh, that would be a piercing arrow miss, but Dokla is in the mid lane.
Remind. Split push. Like pressure from every single point in the map. Mid lane from Dokla. Bot lane naturally from those super minions. And top lane.
Oh, Ryoma is stacking up his ball, so he will be going for the unleashed power.
Oh, they go for it.
The upper hand with the infinite Duress.
There we go.
Gets the first move advantage. Dokla is very low. They just fell into the trap of USG.
That's what I'm talking about. USG is still in this game, and if they have that initiative, the thing is they cannot engage onto the top side or bot side when FBI was doing his dirty work. But once Sin tried doing something cheeky, going for a cheesy engage onto someone, an assassination, that's where they smelled it. They sniffed it out like a good K9 attack dog. Well, Neo just charged in, and at that point, Ryoma couldn't even ulti. So that's one of the ways that USG can get back into this game.
And they have the Elemental Drakes to help them in this game. Infernal, Mountain, and Ocean for USG.
I think they'd rather have either Infernal or Mountain. I mean, Cloud would complete the 4 elements, but I think at this point they want Infernal more, because Infernal Drake will give them even more gold value. Well, 16% AP and AD should equalize whatever Sin has left, but we'll see. Once the camera pans over to the Drake pit, we will see what the next Drake will be.
Well, it will be the Elder Drake.
Oh, Elder Drake, definitely at this. Yeah, it's 32 minutes. Elder Drake, which is actually going to be very good if they actually take that objective, and they can quickly get it, considering that they have Blade of Ruin King and a Warwick. They can get it once it spawns, but Baron will be the apple of the eye of both of these teams in a minute right now.
They are doing everything, building around FBI. Knight's Vow, Randwind's Omen, a Black Cleaver for the Armor Shred.
Oh dear.
Very juicy. I love it.
All of it just focusing on keeping FBI alive.
Just keep him alive, he will do the dirty work for Sin Gaming. So very, very
nice. They're continuing here. The siege in the top lane. that line of minions, that marching line of minions will be closing in on that top side, and USG has to react to it. If they let FBI keep doing what he's doing, they're just gonna die slowly. So USG needs to be able to do something quickly. They have so many tools. They have Abyssal Voyage. They can use that together with Neo.
FBI just chunking on the hills little by little.
Where's Appaman? Appaman cannot afford to split push in this time.
He has teleport, so he can try and pressure the bot side, but that's very risky.
There's more pressure on Sin's side being grouped up. So I think USG, I think they need to be able to set up the rage from Appaman.
Okay, the Baron is live.
The Baron is live. This will go to Sin if USG cannot react to it, but seems like Sin might be going for
Here
it.
comes lockdown onto Andy. Andy flashes away with a thick skin. The pops to Solari for more survivability.
Rage building so slowly.
So slowly, so Appaman will not be Meganar. Two-man stun by Ryoma. He will try to kill Appaman, but Neo comes down with the Jaws of the Beast. He will survive. That would be one member down. Douglas down for the count.
They're so low though.
They're still very low. FBI still healthy. Jubes is there with the Knight's Bow. Ryoma is also healthy.
Oh, decisiveness.
Oh, he has the blue buff. We see that Neo is red. He's forced to back away, but this is going to be very risky. Here it comes. Here it comes. Remind is there. 4 members.
Abyssal Voyage.
Abyssal Voyage is here. Let's see. Andy's in the scene. Neo is there. Oh, Meganar farm. Oh, come on. He missed that. He missed it, but Neo gets the death sentence. Andy ate him up. Denies the re-engage. Sin Gaming knows what's up. They want to go for the opportunity, but I love how Andy swallowed it in the nick of time to deny the hook.
That's definitely both of these teams having so many clutch moments, but that Gnar whiffing was definitely bad for USG. So this means that USG is behind on a lot of ultimates, but they're still going for it. This Petrifying Gaze will come up very, very soon. Corrupting Chains as well.
Oh, teleport coming in. Dokka is alive. Straight from heaven onto earth. Come on, Neo. You better run to the Baron quickly. Jubes is there.
Low.
Very low. He smells his blood. Very low. Come on.
Look at bot lane, however.
Oh,
this
Neo
is pressuring Appaman.
He's going in. Oh, he gets knocked back by Ryoma. And he's there for the save. Dokla can't even move. Grounded. Neo goes in for Dokla. Dokla goes over the wall, but Remind will be taking the kill. FBI forced to back away. The Baron goes to USG, perhaps.
Bot lane and top lane are pushing for Sin, though, but this is USG taking this Baron very, very quickly. I don't think Juvie can get something out of here. That's too dangerous. If Jubes gets taken down there,
FBI slowly but surely mowing down the members of USG. FBI can move. Oh, rooted by the trap. Appaman's taking so much damage. Ace in the hole. Oh, Appaman blocks it. Oh, those traps are just nightmare.
That is nasty, but now USG...
I just felt so dirty looking at those traps.
FBI stayed alive throughout that fight. And look at this, the pressure from the minions waves being built in the top side and bot side. They have the Baron now. They equalize the gold from those skills. They get the Baron. They have elemental drakes as well. Elder will be spawning in a minute and a half. The USG still in this game. They are fighting hard. They just need to find a way to take out Sin. And the thing is, they don't need to go straight for FBI. Of course, it would be optimal for them to be able to get onto FBI because he has such a good support system. Let's go for the carry that they're kind of neglecting, which is Ryoma. Ryoma right now 3-3-3, so his power has plateaued. He hasn't snowballed super fast ever since the mid-game. So this is an opportunity. If they can take out Ryoma and then break Sin's formation, they can really do it. And they have a solid front line as well. Anti good at safety. Appaman good at engaging, Neo good at the sustained damage, being able to just completely sustain himself in the fight, which means that they have a very solid frontline here. And Hareti can continue doing what he's doing, free hitting from afar, as long as his 3 frontliners are doing work. And they have 2 sustained damage, and when it comes to the late game, sustained damage is almost everything. If they can get a good team fight where they're not caught out, where they have vision, where they can take out Ryoma before he can do anything, they can easily take the game away. But of course, FBI is such a threat.
I don't think he's going to be the single side, because if Ryoma gets taken down, FBI will always be that pestering ADC that will be very hard to pin down, because those traps, what happened in Baron Pit? All the members of USG stepped on it. They couldn't even escape. So I think they barely survived that Baron clash. But with the Baron in the hands of USG, they have a solid chance. They can fend off the incoming waves despite the inhibitor turrets down.
So there is a little bit of an audio issue happening on the stream. So we'll be getting back to that after it's fixed. But discussing the state of the game, this gives a little bit of time to talk about the game. Actually, we'll be getting back into the game already in a little bit. Actually, let's get into it. Let's get on the replay.
A replay of what
Because
happened.
that very good devour from NT, and as soon as he gets out of it, he goes for the infinite duress onto Dokla, giving him a little bit of health. And here, they just straight up kill Ryoma, who at this point can't really go for a big one-shot kill. He only has 3 kills, 3 assists. At this point of the game, the frontliners, who will be the only ones in range of that unleashed power, cannot get one-shot. So really, FBI is the only super big threat here.
And look at the traps being
Yeah,
set
the
one by
trapping is
one.
disgusting though. Look at that, FBI doing so much work. I love how he uses his net as well. So, that, well played from both teams. Well played especially from FBI. And that's really the win condition now for USG. Unsold Stuff Gaming. They have to go for these hardcore engages where they can just break the formation of the teams. So the game plan, however, for the OPL team is to just kite it out with FBI. At this point, what's more important for Ryoma is not to go for a one-hit kill with the Unleashed Power, but to whittle them down slowly with the spheres. And the most important thing, the Scatter the Weak. The stuns will be paramount rather than Unleashed Power. So,
in a way, more this state of the game, it's not about cheesy nukes, it's more on utility.
As in, the maximum damage of your spheres, of your Unleashed Power, will come naturally. Will come naturally as you do your sustained damage, as you put out your spheres for the Unleashed Power and the Scatter the Weak. So that should be Ryoma's job right now. He shouldn't be looking for one-shots, because at this point, Remind has Zhonya's and the Archangel Staff, and Harati also has good survivability from NT. So it's very hard to go for one-shot kills. They just have to focus on a good, huge, impactful Scatter the Weak.
But that's going to be very difficult, seeing how the members of Sin Gaming, they're very clumped up, because in a way that, okay, Ryoma lands the Scatter the Weak, but we have USG's lineup, a Gnar, a Warwick, a Cassiopeia.
It's very slippery. Very hard to
actually pinpoint, because Cassiopeia at this point again, level 18, fully stacked. The mobility will just be enough for him.
Plus the Storm Raider Surge, so really needs to be careful. FBI really needs to be able to just carry his team, and I think it's going to be up to Dokla to be the front line here, same with Juves and Rogue. But the thing is, at this point, Renekton has completely fallen off.
The Elder Drake.
Oh, this is going to be huge for USG. And they can take this very, very quickly. Blade of the Ruined King, almost fully stacked items on Hareti. Oh, look at how fast they take it.
Oh, because they have Elder Drake. Let's see, 4K.
But this is going to be the fight.
3K.
Ryoma so far from the team. Oh, the Dark Passage.
Oh, the Dark Passage is there, but Remind pops his Zhonya's. Apame goes in for the Mega Gnar! 3-man to the wall! 3-man stun! USG follows it up with Neo straight in and suppresses down FBI. You're not getting away. He fears him. He can't get away. Oh, they take him down! Rogue is the only one remaining, and that's going to be the ace of the game!
I love that. That will actually be game from USG. They have Mountain Drake. They have Elder. They don't have Elder, but they do have the power of the Mountain Drake. Plus, death timers are super long. I love how that fight went. You saw that? That Primal Howl from Neo feared 4 targets, which allowed Apamen to follow up with a huge Gnar ultimate.
And look how healthy they are.
Yes, and that's because of their sustain that they have. Blade of the Ruined King, natural sustain from Cassiopeia and Warwick. All of this, that one explosive team point was what USG needed. And Sin got too antsy because of the Elder Drake. And because of this, USG gets another win, not just for themselves, but for the rest of LJL, establishing Japan. Look at the faces.
It was actually a very close game.
Yes, it was. FBI was playing so well here. But look at that face of despair, and look at the relaxed faces of this LJL team.
Well, to be fair, this game was anyone's game in a way
it's
that
true. It's true.
They,
it's
none
so
of them had it in the bag. So one crucial mistake just already escaped the lands.
They got too antsy. They got intimidated. Okay, they have 3 Drakes. If they get Elder, we're done for. But they got baited into that, and that just allowed for the 4-man Primal Howl into the 3-man Gnar, into the rest of DPS come from Hareti. It was also good.
The 3-man stun to the wall was such a highlight, and also
the Primal Howl was what set it up.
FBI couldn't even go away from the the rappel
Yeah.
away because he got feared, and that stopped him midway. So
He got feared closer to the wall, which allowed
Yes.
Abaman to go for that, and the damage from Hareti was just, oh wow, amazing. Still though, look at but to be fair to Sin Gaming, they had a good run this and today. Their faces of despair most likely because they almost had that, but they had a good run today.
So yes, that was actually a very close, clutch game.
Good game from both teams.
Good game, and it just goes to show the skill level from LJL. I gotta say, LJL right now in this region, very powerful.
Definitely very powerful, showing that when it counts, they can go for that victory. And there, they exploded. That was so good. Like, I can't stress enough how that Primal Howl was crucial, because that disallowed FBI from escaping. And the follow-up was just great. Wallop into Gnar, just perfect. I have no words other than, oh boy.
Ooh boy.
Yeah, definitely.
So guys,
Blimey.
oh man, to the viewers out there, I'm pretty sure you saw this game. Very exciting for both. Actually, it was a very tense game that puts you at your wits' end. But I gotta say, for LJL, decisiveness. But for the final standings, it will be LJL.
5 wins to 1. Let's look at the standings, final standings so far. After we total up everything here, LJL, the LOL Japan League, has 5 wins and 1 loss. The Oceania Pro League, however, has 3 wins and 3 losses. They're at the midpoint, but they perform very well. As for the Garena Premier League, 1 win coming from Gigabyte Marines and 5 losses for everything else.
LJL sitting at the first place.
Look at this.
Can it's like not a surprise from what they've shown in day 1.
Yeah, definitely. From day 1, they definitely showed up strong. And look at the symmetry of the scores here: 5-1, 3-3, 1-5.
Oh.
Definitely tragic for GPL, but the fact is they did their best for today, and I believe tomorrow we'll be seeing more games for the Rift Rivals. As for LJL, their first seed will be representing them for tomorrow's games. As for OPL, their second seed for this one will be the one to represent them. As for GPL, Mineski, their third seed, will be representing them for tomorrow's games.
So here are the final standings. A quick wrap up. LJL sits at the first place, followed by OPL with the second and GPL for the third. But that concludes the second day of Rift Rivals.
Very exciting day.
Very exciting day. I really love the last game. A good closure for day 2. We hope you enjoy it. I'm Vulcan, and with me was Atlas. We have been the shoutcasters for the last game, and you just watched the Rift Rivals. See you tomorrow on the upcoming stream.
This is not a game, don't take me lightly. Brain cell from insane, bring the pain like enough to nice beat. The last thing you see when you falling asleep, shutting down your whole city, now you messing with me. Nobody, you want it, you got it, and good. Get it, you want it, fuck it, I live it. Mess around and get 2 fists for Christmas. I don't play, do the deed and get away with no scripts like I'm OJ. Ride it, reckless. I'm about this money, putting checks on my checklist. Might jack your necklace, might smack your squad up. You may go hard, but we go harder. So if it's on, it's on. So if it's on, it's on. So if it's on, it's on. Might see me banging on my chest like I'm king. Okay, what the problem is? Mess around and try to rumble with the problem kids. King of the jungle, scooter talking in the politics. You wanted a leader, okay, now follow this. If you want me, I'ma put it on your slow, sitting like a freight train. Everybody on me, and none of this earth, we got nothing.